So with that, let's talk Apple Enterprise Management. My name is Kaylee Carlson. I'm in product marketing at Jamf, and I'm really excited to be here today to share with you Jamf's Apple Enterprise Management solution and how it can help organizations succeed with Apple. So here's today's agenda. We'll start with a brief overview of Jamf and our solutions. We'll take a tour of many of the common challenges and trends that organizations are facing today and how Jamf can help with those challenges. And we'll also look at some of the reasons that organizations should choose Jamf. We'll have some time again at the end for questions, so think about what you want answered as we go through this information today. And again, feel free to put those in the Q&A box in the chat window, and we'll get to them once we conclude. So let's talk about Jamf. At Jamf, we exist to help organizations succeed with Apple. Really simple. For nearly 2 decades, we've worked to innovate, iterate, and grow alongside Apple to go beyond basic device management and offer full lifecycle management of the entire Apple ecosystem with a portfolio of enterprise solutions. Jamf's Apple Enterprise Management solutions are here to help organizations connect, manage, and protect Apple devices. In today's webinar, again, we'll be diving into many of those challenges that the enterprise faces when it comes to securely connecting users to resources, efficiently managing devices and apps, and protecting data and devices and privacy. We'll discuss solutions to those challenges with the combination of our 3 enterprise-focused products, Jamf Pro, Jamf Connect, and Jamf Protect. So let's start with some of those challenges or trends that we're seeing in enterprise organizations today. So supporting a remote or hybrid workforce. We all know this challenge well, right? Digital transformation will be a trend that will continue throughout 2021 and possibly into 2022. Organizations have and most likely will continue to set aside resources to really focus on ensuring that remote employees and that they're productive with a flawless at-home work experience and for devices and company information to remain secure. In fact, 77% of companies have increased their budget for digital transformation, and 99% of organizations agree that digital technologies will open up a future of continued remote work. The pandemic has really changed the way we work. This is a new digital normal, and I think we all know that it's here to stay. Protecting corporate and customer data is a challenge and a priority that really works in tandem with supporting a remote and hybrid workforce. Cybersecurity investments are paying off for organizations that modernize their infrastructures and train their people to transition to remote work quickly and without compromising the security of the organization. But many companies emphasize connectivity first in their initial response. A lot of companies weren't sure which direction to go, so that was their first initial thought and response. But now's the time for those organizations to assess the security and control gaps to stop cyber criminals that are eager to really take advantage of that slower security response. So organizations should be assessing connections and access, endpoints, applications, and their day-to-day security operations to make sure that they're shored up in this area. Increasing operational efficiency is a challenge and a priority that will be found to be kind of overarching of supporting a remote workforce and also focusing on security. Organizations are thinking about how they can solve for today's changing work environment while still remaining efficient and implementing new tools and workflows to do that. And then finally, another priority that bubbles up to the surface as organizations are thinking about end user experience and keeping users productive while remote is choice, a user choice program. As Apple hardware becomes the choice of workers and is much more commonplace in organizations around the world, having an Apple strategy also becomes really important. The ease of use and growing employee demand are really opening the eyes of many organizations to support and offer Mac, iPad, and iPhone. According to a recent global Mac in the Enterprise survey, 94% of employees agree that they're more likely to choose or to stay at a company that offers them a choice in the technology that they use. 79% agree that they could not do their jobs as effectively without being able to use a Mac. So Jamf really wants to make it easy for organizations to let their users know that everyone who wants Apple should be empowered to use Apple. So these are just a few of the challenges or trends that we're seeing as commonplace today. There may be others, of course, but these are the ones that we're going to focus on and how empowerment with Jamf can help solve for those. So, as we just talked about, companies really have a lot to think about. So again, how can Jamf solve for those challenges and help organizations succeed with Apple? So IDC's latest MarketScape report states that the adoption of Mac in the enterprise is growing, as we just talked about. More Apple devices in business has caused many organizations to rethink their approach to overall endpoint provisioning, management, and security. Complete Apple enterprise management is becoming essential to maximize Apple initiatives and ultimately best connect, manage, and protect corporate Apple devices throughout their lifecycle. So according to this report, Jamf's leadership ranking was attributed to Jamf's singular focus on Apple and thus the ability to consistently provide same-day compatibility and feature support for all new operating systems. Also attributed to a strong ecosystem of integrations with industry-specific solutions and Jamf offerings that create unique workflows for iPads and iPhones within industries like healthcare, retail, transportation, education, and construction. And finally, the company's strength in Mac management features coupled with Mac-specific identity and security products. So, let's talk about the platform. Our core MDM offerings have grown into an Apple enterprise management platform and a true portfolio of enterprise solutions. Jamf is the only Apple enterprise management solution of scale that automates the entire lifecycle of Apple in the enterprise, including device deployment, management, and security, without negatively impacting the end user experience or requiring IT to ever touch the device. Jamf is focused on preserving the native and consistent Apple experience that people expect at work, while fulfilling the security, compliance, and privacy requirements of the enterprise. So, let's first take a look at how Jamf solutions help connect users to resources. So historically, provisioning devices with specific workflows is really time-consuming and it's a manual process, and that results in waiting and unproductive time for end users. Jamf Zero-Touch Deployment integrates with Apple deployment programs such as Apple Business Manager to automate enrollment and configuration, providing a scalable zero-touch experience with every shrink-wrapped Apple box personalized for each individual. So IT admins can automatically enroll and configure new devices without requiring any of that hands-on support from IT. Users can go from new in the box to ready to use without any time-consuming imaging or manual configuration. End users will then be able to authenticate to their Mac, which has been provisioned based on their cloud identity credentials, and that really simplifies the login process while also giving users exactly what they need to be productive on day one. So here is what an example of the old way to deploy Apple across an organization. So as you can see, it required a lot of steps and substantial time. And the heaviest part of this workflow was the weight that it put on the shoulders of IT. And the team often required to unbox, power on, and configure that new hardware. So this legacy model is even more complicated than it needs to be. It does not place the user at the center of Apple deployments and just really kind of provides a heavy weight on everyone involved. On the other hand, here's a modern provisioning model powered by Jamf. Zero-touch deployment is by far the easiest and most efficient way to deploy devices with an MDM solution, an Apple Business or School Manager, to automatically enroll and configure new devices, again, without requiring that hands-on support from IT. With Zero-touch, admins can simply order their devices from a compatible vendor and have them shipped directly to the user. No hands-on support. It leaves time for other things that IT needs to be focusing on. So with the shift to a remote workforce, IT admins want to feel confident that the right person is accessing a device and the corporate applications and data that they're authorized to access, and really ensure that the end users do have everything that they need to be productive for their particular role. So as we just mentioned when discussing zero-touch deployment, with Jamf, organizations can provision devices with those business-critical apps that their users need based solely on that employee's cloud identity credentials. So users will really enjoy a seamless experience. So they access their device and applications with a single password that's synchronized down to the local account level. So even when the password is changed, that password gets synced. It keeps employees on task. And then with multi-factor authentication enabled for every login, IT admins can rest easy knowing that the right person is accessing the machine and the resources that they are supposed to. So when it comes to resources such as apps, typically employees need to go to IT when they need anything. So reducing the burden on IT and empowering employees would not only free up the time of the IT department, but also helps users become a lot more self-sufficient and productive immediately. So Jamf can add bookmarks, policies, workflows like cleanup scripts, and even VPN configurations to a branded self-service app portal to give employees instant access to resources that they need. Employees can also troubleshoot common issues in one click, and all of these things really reduces help desk tickets to IT, giving everyone some time back in their day and just keeping everyone efficient. So here we can see self-service with Jamf in action. The user opens up the Acme app in the dock, which is the branded version of self-service. They can then browse the home section to find IT-approved apps and resources. We see apps, printer drivers, maintenance scripts, ebooks, and more. If the user does need something, they simply click on install. IT can even set up categories to make it easier for end users to find what they're looking for. There's a history tab to see what's been installed in the past. And then finally, we can see any software that needs to be updated. And all of this is done without our user needing to submit an IT ticket and waiting for someone to fulfill that request. So let's talk about managing devices and apps. Device provisioning includes not only purchasing and receiving devices, but also getting them up and running with imaging and configuring user-specific settings. This is, as we've already talked about, a high-touch manual process for IT admins. However, with Jamf's remote management abilities and the use of configuration profiles, policies, smart targeting, scripts, you can leverage advanced workflows to automate Mac, iPad, iPhone, and Apple TV management. We also understand that organizations invest in new software and they need it to work within their environment, which is why we build solutions that extend and connect. With cross-industry integrations to specific solutions, Jamf integrates with more than 300 third-party providers to provide a Jamf and solution. So Jamf and whatever additional tools that you need to get your job done. Here's just a few examples of some of those integrations with partners such as Microsoft, Okta, and other cloud identity providers, Cisco and ServiceNow, just to name a few. The Jamf Marketplace on jamf.com is a central location for you to find, learn about, and utilize the valuable tools to integrate with and extend the Jamf platform. So in today's world, with the growing popularity and necessity of remote work, without the ability to physically access the devices, admins may have a lack of visibility into their devices, app usage, updates that are needed, and potential security threats. So Jamf can automatically collect user, hardware, software, and security device data, or customize inventory specifications so you always have a bird's eye view of your devices. Admins can also leverage automated inventory data and dynamic smart groups to trigger actions like OS updates, and ensure the most secure versions are the ones that are deployed to those devices. So anyone who's been in charge of maintaining apps at an organization knows that app management can be very time consuming. And IT needs better visibility into who needs what apps, app usage data, and of course, keeping those apps up to date with the latest versions. It's easy to obtain app licenses, deploy, and manage apps in bulk right from the Apple or B2B App Store with Jamf. You can assign apps to users or devices, no Apple ID required, and then reassign licenses as needs in the organization change. Admins can also build custom and software packages to keep third-party apps up to date as well. So speaking of third-party apps, in September of 2020, Jamf acquired Mundata, the creator of Kenobi and Kenobi Pro, which are leading solutions in patch management for the Apple platform. So Jamf is on an iterative path to expanding and accelerating Jamf's application lifecycle capabilities. And the first step in this is expanding to offer hundreds of new app software titles, including many of the most commonly installed apps by Mac users. So the benefit to this first of many improvements include, a more comprehensive and robust app reporting solution that's built right into Jamf Pro, a single consistent workflow for maintaining all of the critical apps in your environment, so you no longer need to rely upon open source and community tools for patch intelligence. And then finally, an easy way to make updates available to end users via self-service for that best user experience. So the process to remediate macOS security incidents is not well known, but the need for better device protection is really at an all-time high. So Jamf helps to ensure privacy and speed. Admins receive real-time alerts on device to analyze activity. Then they choose whether to proactively block, isolate, or remediate threats. Will also prevent known macOS malware, including those threats and attacks that are unique to Apple's architecture. When it comes to protecting data, devices, and privacy, organizations may find it difficult and, again, time-consuming to gather data and report on compliance for devices. But, again, security of devices and data is more important than it ever has been before. So Jamf secures devices by leveraging native Apple security features such as enforcing encryption on macOS and iOS, and passcodes on iOS, running policies to turn on File Vault for macOS, and restricting malicious software and patching all of your Apple devices without any user interaction. So, of course, IT admins, again, they want visibility into all aspects of their devices to keep them safe and protected. So with dashboards, real-time alerts, and extensive reporting on built-in Apple frameworks like macOS security, frameworks like XProtect and Gatekeeper, you'll be the first to know when suspicious activities occur, and then you can respond accordingly. So just like users, industries also have unique needs, whether it's finding tools to enhance student learning or it's transforming healthcare communications to better engage with patients. Jamf has really tailored solutions to meet those needs for healthcare, education, construction, hospitality, and more. In healthcare, just as an example, Jamf offers virtual visits and healthcare listener. And in education, we have teacher, student, and parent apps, just to name a few. So with these unique industry solutions, Jamf helps organizations in many industries succeed with Apple. And one more time, here's the slide. Jamf is the only Apple enterprise management solution of scale that automates the entire life cycle of Apple in the enterprise, including device deployment, management, and security, all while delivering an exceptional experience for every employee and without requiring IT to ever touch the device. So why Jamf? Let's take a look at why organizations might want to consider Jamf if all of those solutions weren't enough to consider. So first, our exclusive focus on Apple helps make us the go-to choice for organizations. Jamf helps more than 47,000 organizations manage 20 million Apple devices and counting. So when the enterprise needs the world leader in Apple management, they turn to Jamf. The world's largest banks, tech companies, most valuable brands, and largest companies choose Jamf for Apple management. As we mentioned at the beginning of this conversation, Jamf has been helping organizations succeed with Apple since 2002. The benefit of our Apple focus is that we're able to dedicate all of our engineering to the Apple platform, so we know it well and we build solutions specifically for Apple. Because of that, Jamf's whole product experience can provide an Apple-first native experience, same-day support for Apple OS updates, a strong community of Apple-focused IT professionals, training, and more. So our customers routinely tell us how happy they are, and our 96% year-over-year retention rate really helps to solidify that sentiment. So to help you succeed with Apple, we know that our solutions must be reliable and secure, even as Apple releases new operating systems or changes hardware specs throughout the year, which is why we have nearly a decade of same-day support for new Apple operating systems. We're the only vertically focused Apple infrastructure and security platform of scale in the world, so even as technology changes, Jamf really has your back. Here you can see our track record of same-day support. This ensures end users can take advantage of new Apple capabilities the day that they become available. So Jamf also offers additional services to help organizations be successful as well. So our professional services offers remote services to customize Jamf for your environment, and we'll be again offering on-location services hopefully in the near future. We also offer certification courses led by our training team. You can become an expert in Jamf and really widen your skill set. And then finally, every Jamf subscription includes standard support. We have world-class support from Apple experts across the globe. We even offer 24/7 support via our premium support packages. Once an enterprise chooses Jamf, their experience speaks for itself. So our rankings on major review sites like G2 Crowd and Gartner are testaments to how customers feel supported and successful after they join the Jamf family. Feel free to do a search and read the reviews for yourself if you like. Another quick reminder about Jamf Nation, the world's largest community of Apple IT admins with over 100,000 members ready to help, ready to learn, and to communicate about Jamf and Apple. So that brings us to the end of our time together today. I certainly hope that you were able to take away some valuable information of how Jamf Apple Enterprise Management can help your organization succeed with Apple. There's a lot here, there's a lot to consume, but please let us know how we can help. Please let us know what challenges that you're facing and how the Apple Enterprise Management portfolio can help get you off the ground, up and running, make you more efficient, help secure your environment, whatever it is that you need, Jamf is here to help.